Hi, welcome to Zydoxa. Now, before we get into the video, I would like to just give you a trigger warning. There are some details contained within this video that some people may find disturbing. Today we are looking at the 2016 Verruckt waterslide disaster, which resulted in the death of a 10-year-old boy. Verruckt was a custom water coaster waterslide based at Schlitterbahn in Kansas City. Verruckt stood 168 feet 7 inches tall and was deemed the world's tallest waterslide when it opened on the 10th of July 2014. It was also one of the world's fastest waterslides, as rafts would reach between 70 and 75 miles per hour on the drop sections, thus giving it the name Verrückt, which means crazy or insane in German. Verrückt was the brainchild of the park's co-owner Jeff Henry, and when he couldn't get anyone to build the slide, he decided to build it himself with the help of John Schuley as the slide's lead designer, even though neither had any experience in doing so. In fact, Jeff Henry was so impatient and wanted the slide completed as soon as possible, he would push the design team constantly. Design calculations that normally take 3 to 6 months to complete only took 5 weeks, thus resulted in the rafts going airborne on the lower hump more often than not. The ride opened to the public on the 10th of July 2014 and attracted loads of media interest. In fact, it appeared on a Travel Channel documentary called Extreme Water Parks and was entered into the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's tallest waterslide. The 7th of August 2016 was Elected Officials Day at the Schlitterbahn Park, which meant Scott Schwab, Kansas state legislator, received free tickets for him and his family for that specific day. So him and his wife decided to take their 4 sons for a day of fun. With the 7th of August being a Sunday, the Schwab family attended church that morning, then packed the car and headed to the water park. Scott Schwab remembers how excited his 10-year-old son Caleb was to ride the world's tallest waterslide. In fact, when they arrived at the water park, Caleb and his 12-year-old brother Nathan headed straight for Verruckt. After the two brothers climbed the 264 stairs to the top of Verruckt, the ride operators split them up in order to meet the weight regulations for the rafts. Nathan went down the slide first with 2 adults, then waited at the bottom for his brother. Caleb then began the descent with 2 women. Caleb was in the front of the raft. As the raft reached 70 miles an hour, it hit the second hill, causing it to become airborne, and catapulted Caleb into the netting and metal bar above the slide. The force of the collision decapitated Caleb, killing him instantly. The other 2 riders suffered facial injuries such as broken jaw and other bone fractures, as a result, they think, of being hit by Caleb's head. Caleb's head and body then proceeded to travel down the slide to the pool at the bottom, where his brother was waiting for him. Water Park responded to the screams and shouts quickly and was faced with the gruesome scene floating in the pool at the bottom of the slide. They then blockaded the whole area while awaiting emergency services. Immediately after the incident, Schlitterbahn Water Park was closed for 3 days, and Verruckt remained closed for the rest of the 2016 season while an investigation took place. It was during these investigations that it came to light there had been at least 13 non-fatal injuries where rafts had gone airborne and people had hit the netting. Following the investigation into the accident, authorities charged Jeff Henry and John Shuley with second-degree murder and charged the operations manager, Tyler Miles, with manslaughter for his role in covering up previous accidents at the park. Internal reports from the water park showed numerous signs of willful neglect and the fact that Jeff Henry and John Shuley had no qualifications to be able to build such a ride. You would think that the case against those involved would have been clear-cut and that they would have gone to jail. However, in early 2019, Judge Robert Burns dropped all charges against the three forenamed, citing prejudicial evidence. In a statement, Judge Burns said the state's expert witness repeatedly referred to engineering standards that were not required under Kansas law at the time Verruckt was constructed. Quite simply, these defendants were not afforded the due process, protections and fundamental fairness Kansas law requires. In 2017, the Schwab family received $20 million in compensation from Schlitterbahn Water Park, and Scott Schwab used his power as a Kansas state representative to introduce laws for stronger regulations around the inspection of amusement park. The family also pushed for the Verruckt slide to be decommissioned, and the water slide was later dismantled. Please let me know in the comments what you think of this accident. Do you think, like me, that Jeff Henry and John Shuley should have been jailed and not had charges dropped against them? I hope the family have been able to find some peace and been able to piece their lives back together. As always, please support the channel by liking and subscribing, and I hope you join me in the next video. Bye for now.